What if the most dangerous lies aren't spoken? They're asked, not screamed, not whispered, but hidden in everyday questions designed to break your boundaries without you even realizing it. Have you ever felt that spine-chilling moment when someone asked something that sounded harmless, yet your gut clenched and something felt off? That wasn't paranoia. That was your instinct warning you. Because liars don't just deceive with words, they deceive with traps. And their most powerful trap is a question. Once you learn to recognize these traps for what they are, you'll never hear a question the same way again. Let's dive deep, unfiltered and unafraid, into the psychological warfare manipulators use and the ancient tools from Stoic philosophy that protect your clarity in a world full of shadows. Why are you being so sensitive? This isn't a real question. It's a disguised accusation. It's a classic gaslight grenade. What the liar is really saying is, I plan to cross your boundaries, and I need you to feel ashamed for noticing. Seneca, one of the great minds of Stoic philosophy, reminded us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And this question weaponizes that truth. It urges you to doubt your experience, to believe you're too emotional, too reactive, too weak. But here's the truth. Sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's awareness. And awareness is a liar's worst nightmare, because those who feel deeply notice the cracks before everything shatters. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek." Ask yourself, is this person helping you grow or simply trying to erode your trust in your own senses? The next time someone throws, "Why are you so sensitive?" at you, respond calmly, "I'm not being sensitive, I'm being observant. Are you uncomfortable with that?" And watch how quickly the mask slips. "You trust me, right?" sounds innocent, but it's bait. Anyone who demands trust instead of earning it is already deceiving you. Trustworthy people don't need to ask, they show. A liar, however, asks for blind faith. This kind of question is a subtle threat. It asks you to ignore your logic, silence your instincts, and hand over your defenses simply because they told you to. Epictetus, another giant of Stoic philosophy, warned us it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Liars ask, "You trust me, right?" to shut down your curiosity, to guilt you into silence. But the more you ask, the more their lies unravel. Don't rush into blind trust. Instead, use the Stoic principle of apatheia, calm detachment. Observe without reacting. And when someone says, "You trust me, right?" pause and reply. Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to ignore my judgment? Watch them squirm. They won't have a real answer. In contrast, true leaders grounded in Stoic philosophy earn trust through calm resilience, not emotional manipulation. Take George Washington, for example. During the Revolutionary War, he faced betrayal, defeat, and immense pressure. But rather than lash out or blame, he practiced restraint, sought clarity, and focused on duty above emotion. Like the Stoics, he studied Washington, didn't argue to be understood. He acted with integrity and let time reveal his character. That's not just leadership, that's Stoic leadership. Are you accusing me of something? This is the classic deflection. It's not a question, it's theater. In an instant, your reasonable suspicion becomes an attack. You're the one on trial. You're now defending yourself, not for doing anything wrong, but for noticing. This question is meant to trigger panic, to send you into backpedaling, explaining, apologizing for thinking. But wisdom begins in silence, not in surrender, but in strategic stillness. This isn't a question to answer, it's a trap to pause in front of. Hold eye contact, wait 2 or 3 seconds, then say, "Should I be?" Most liars will stutter. They expected panic, not calm power. "Would I ever lie to you?" This is poison wrapped in velvet. It's not a question, it's a performance. They want you to believe they're incapable of deception, that they're noble, pure, above suspicion. But ask yourself, why would someone even ask this unless they suspected you were catching on? The teachings of Stoic philosophy remind us, don't waste what remains of your life speculating about others. It clouds your understanding of what is. This question is misdirection, pure and simple. Don't answer. Ask instead, that's not the question. The question is, would I know if you did, that floods the shadows with light. And liars thrive in the dark. You see this clarity modeled in people like Admiral James Stockdale, an American POW in Vietnam, who endured brutal torture. A devout student of Stoic philosophy, Stockdale credited Epictetus for helping him survive. He refused to lie to himself. He refused to blame. He embraced what was in his control and let go of what wasn't. He didn't let the enemy define his mind. That's the power of Stoicism when the stakes are life and death. Can't we just move on from this? This is the final card: exhaustion, emotional fatigue. This isn't about resolution, it's about wearing you down. The liar wants you to give up, not because the truth was found, but because you're too tired to keep looking. Marcus Aurelius gave us this: if it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. That's the kind of ethical backbone Stoic philosophy instills. Liars want you to move on before the dots connect, because when they do, the game ends. So don't rush. Truth doesn't have a deadline. Respond with quiet resolve. I'll move on when I understand what happened, not before. That calm clarity terrifies manipulators. You've become immovable. Here's your final warning. Liars don't just distort words, they distort feelings. They twist your sense of reality until you're not sure if you're the one losing your mind. They'll make you feel guilty for being intelligent, ashamed for asking questions, unreasonable for having boundaries. They'll spin the story until you're the villain, simply because you saw the plot holes. But hear this: you are not broken for having boundaries. You are not cruel for wanting clarity. You are not paranoid for seeking truth. And you are not too much for desiring peace that isn't built on deception. You are simply awake. And the awake ones, they terrify those who seek control, because they can't be manipulated. They can't be conditioned. They see through the veil. Followers of Stoic philosophy didn't chase comfort. They chased clarity. They trained their minds to stay sharp in a world designed to dull them. Because they understood this: a man who sees clearly is a threat to every lie. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't beg for loyalty. He doesn't justify his standards. He cannot be seduced by fake humility or sweet deception. In our own time, leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. drew deeply from Stoic thought, even if not explicitly. He embraced discipline, moral clarity, and the higher principle of justice over personal vengeance. Like the Stoics, he believed in mastering oneself before trying to transform society. His leadership wasn't reactive. It was rooted in internal strength, not emotional escalation. So remember these 5 questions. Each one is a Trojan horse, a chess move dressed in charm. But now you see the strategy. Now you're not the pawn, you're the... Ask yourself, is this person seeking truth or control? Am I being guilted into silence? Would Marcus Aurelius or Seneca tolerate this? What happens if I don't answer? Who becomes uncomfortable? Would I think this was healthy? If I saw it happen to someone I love, if the answer stings, trust it. If your gut knots, listen. Your instinct isn't broken, it's under attack. Liars prey on those who doubt themselves. But those grounded in Stoic philosophy train themselves never to flinch. And now so can you, not by fighting with rage, but with awareness. Not by attacking, but by standing firm. And that makes you dangerous, because when you can sit calmly across from a liar and see straight through them, you've already won.